Why do we suffer more over someone who almost happened than over an ex we were with for years? Here's the mechanism behind it. When you lose someone you were actually with, you lose one specific, real, flawed person. You know their habits, their arguments, the way things actually ended. It's a closed book, annoying at times, but closed. When you lose an almost, you don't just lose a person. You lose an entire imagined future that never got the chance to disappoint you. Every version of that relationship still exists, perfect and untouched, because reality never got a chance to ruin it. That's the trap. The almost stays protected by fantasy. There wasn't enough time for reality to wear down the idealized version you built in your head. A new relationship always looks shinier, but new only lasts so long. Eventually the shine wears off, and you're just looking at an ordinary person again. The almost never got that far. It's frozen at its most flattering angle, forever. There's something else going on too, and it's less romantic than you'd like to admit. Being rejected activates your ego, not just your heart. Your ex didn't reject you outright. You two simply ended. But the almost said no. And that no is what keeps replaying, because it isn't really grief. It's wounded pride asking, over and over, why wasn't I enough? That question keeps you stuck because you've made someone else's choice about a verdict on your worth. It isn't. Someone not choosing you is information about compatibility, timing, or their own issues, not a scorecard on your value. So here's the real reason the almost hurts worse. It gives you infinite room for fantasy, while your ex gives you nothing but plain, unfiltered reality. You're not just grieving the person you imagined they were. You're grieving the version of yourself you imagined becoming next to them. And then they looked at you and said, essentially, nice knowing you, and moved on. Remember this. How much something hurts is not a measurement of how much love was there. Often it measures wounded pride or a shattered fantasy, not love. So healing from an almost isn't just about grieving a person. It's about grieving the imagined nights, the imagined future, the imagined version of happiness you built around someone who was never actually yours to lose. That's why it's almost always easier to suffer over a fantasy than over a real, lived relationship. And if you want the blunt version, it's time to grow up. You're still mourning someone you never even had. That person wasn't your soulmate. They weren't the one. They were just someone who said no. And life kept moving. So can you.